Howdy, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of the Procedurally Generated Show. I am your host, Tony, and joining me on this episode, I've got Ethan.
Hey.
What's going on, sir?
This isn't recording day.
No, it is not recording day. This is Google Stadia day.
That means it's also Bungie day.
And we will talk about all of that stuff here in just a little bit.
Yay.
But first, we have to introduce Shannon. Hello, Shannon.
Hello.
What's going on, sir? You ready for Google Stadia day?
What? No.
Also known as my wife's birthday, which is far more important than Google Stadia day, but it is Google Stadia day.
Happy birthday, Mrs.
Birthday.
Tony Miller.
Happy birthday. Why are you sending me Pokemon pictures?
I'm not.
I may have dropped a picture of the new Pokemon Senpai in the Discord chat.
I need to go with that beard style. I'm going to shave my facial hair just to look like that.
I'm down. I'd support that.
My wife wouldn't. She would murder me. So I don't think I want to do that.
His face looks so flat.
Every Pokemon character's face looks flat.
Yeah, but he looks flatter in the face.
It's the hair. The puffy hair makes him look flatter.
He looks weird.
He also has, that puffy collar on his majestic cape.
He's not my senpai.
He's undefeated.
Until you come along.
I mean, you play chess and never move your back row. You're undefeated too.
So I guess we
are checkers,
doing...
not chess. What am I thinking?
Just so everybody knows, we are doing an E3 preview show. So I guess we could talk Pokemon for a minute if you want. What do you guys think of? Did you watch the
I'm
Direct?
good.
Hey.
I don't want to talk much because they didn't really show off a ton of information about it.
What?
It was a short little 15-minute Direct. Basically showing off some of the new characters, a few of the Pokemon, and like the big main new mechanic, which is what are they called? They're not Mega Evolutions. It's something else. I've already forgotten.
They're Super Mega Evolution. I forgot as well. Your Pokemon basically gets gigantic.
It gets huge. You have like Poke Beach Balls now that you throw out instead of just Pokeballs.
Kaiju evolution.
That's what it looks like. I would not be surprised to see a Godzilla Pokemon in this game.
Suddenly, that press conference makes so much more sense with Toho there.
I mean, more or less, it just looks like more Pokemon. I do like the visual style. I like the sort of update to the 3D sort of visual style. It's still reminiscent of classic Pokemon, but you do now have full control over the camera. You can move it around wherever you want.
Sweet.
Do all that. So yeah, Pokemon.
They've also got raid battles.
Yes.
It looks to be very reminiscent of an open world Pokemon game. Like a lot of those flyovers were very reminiscent of Breath of the Wild trailers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sort of got that same sensation as well. And it also looked like they have carried over from the Pokemon Let's Go games with the Pokemon out in the world now. It looked like there was some of that. I don't know if it's completely like that because there were a couple times where it looked like they were running through the tall grass and got surprised by a Pokemon. But
so,
you also
I fact checked and I found out what that evolution is called.
Okay.
It's a Dynamax evolution.
Dynamax, that's what it's called. Yeah.
I think Kaiju evolution sounds better.
That's really what it looked like, especially there were some, a couple spots where it was just two giant Pokemon. The raid battles were kind of interesting. It looks like it's 4 players versus 1 giant Pokemon. There's some stuff I still have questions about. I don't think they really answered it. Like if you can catch that Pokemon, who gets it? Does everybody get it? What? I wasn't really clear on stuff like that.
You have to
If
fight
it
me
works
for
like
it.
raid battles, I would imagine everybody gets a fair shot.
Okay.
Because I've done raid battles in Pokemon Go, and me and another person
Hmm.
catching that Pokemon from the raid battle at the same time. It wasn't just one of us that had an opportunity to get it.
Okay. So, and then they announced the release date, November 15th, I believe is what they said.
Worldwide release.
Worldwide, yes, it won't be one of those instances where we have to wait 6 months or a year after Japan gets the game. Um,
Which is
and
right on par with Sun and Moon, because Sun and Moon I think was the first to do worldwide simultaneous launch.
that sounds right. Um, so yeah, and that does look like they're slotting that in to be the big holiday release this year with that November release date,
On Animal Crossing. Come
which
on.
means no Animal Crossing in November.
No, don't say it. If you
So,
say it, don't make it true. Don't you speak that evil on me, Tony Miller.
we'll talk about Animal Crossing a little later in the show when we get to
better.
Nintendo. So, because I have a couple of thoughts about where they could slot that at this point. So yeah, it is E3 week. We have the list of all of the different conferences, and we're going to kind of go through them quickly and discuss our thoughts on what we hope to see, what we might see in each of the different conferences, starting with Microsoft. Or EA, sorry. EA is on Saturday, the 8th. Is anybody looking forward to anything out of this conference?
Not really.
That's sort of my thought too. It's just like, EA's not really going to do a lot for Nintendo. So,
I mean, they could probably surprise me with a new something I might like from them, but until they say it, I have no expectations of EA. So
yeah.
So, the one thing that I would like to come out of EA is give me a reason to sign up for EA Access or
Okay.
EA All Access, whatever that
Ooh, yeah.
Microsoft subscription thing is. Because like
Yeah.
I have teetered on it before, because first of all I don't care much of anything about the sports games,
Yeah.
but having access to some of the things like Battlefield or
Star Wars.
Star Wars. There's a handful of games that they have put out that I wouldn't mind doing that EA access, kind of like Game Pass,
Hmm.
but I need some more value to it. Like I need either that, or they need to adjust the pricing structure, because it's a little too high for not as much.
You
So
know what?
maybe a restructure of that would be nice.
If they announced a new Mass Effect, I'd be interested.
They're going to have to do a lot of convincing to get people, I think, back on board the Mass Effect
Not
train.
really. They would just have to say we're gonna go with the team that made Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and everyone would be like, "Good."
Could
You
you
think?
imagine if they did a Mass Effect trilogy on Switch?
I mean, would you really want to replay the first Mass Effect?
What if I've never played any Mass Effect?
Well, you could get the trilogy on Xbox or PC or PS3.
Yeah, but it's not Switch. I can't take it with me. Come on,
It's,
man.
Oh, that would require EA making something for Nintendo.
That's true.
yeah, and they
That-
can't. They don't have Mass Effect 18 that they could just recycle from last year with a new roster.
Oh gosh, that Andromeda was such a mistake.
So, sorry, that was mean.
I was honest.
Very
True.
honest. I'm not
True.
arguing. I'm saying it was a mistake as well.
So yeah, okay. It doesn't look like any of us are really super excited about what's coming out of EA. I mean,
They have nowhere to go but up.
that's true. All they can do is surprise us. Like I'm really interested in Star Wars, and what may come out of that, but that's really about it.
They will promise us nothing and deliver less. I mean more. Right.
It has to be more, right?
It's EA. Who knows, man?
So, before we before we move on to Microsoft, though, let's take a step back because I completely skipped over this because it is Google Stadia Day, and we completely skipped over that. We should have mentioned it. Google had their Stadia sort of big reveal today, It's like 30 minutes long. They showed off some games that are coming to the system, not the system, the service. It's not a system. You got to get that out of your head.
It is it's a
I mean,
system in the sense that it exists in some fashion.
and the first way to get it is by getting a physical system. So
There you
there is
go.
there is that. It's launching in November, and it will first be available on Chromecast Ultra.
What?
Yeah, it's a
That it's
streaming
Google's
device.
streaming stick, like Fire Stick or Roku.
Hmm.
Okay.
It will also be available on anything that can play. I mean, that has access to a Chrome browser, as well as the Pixel 3
I
phone.
could play it on my PC, or I could just buy the games on the PC anyway and play them
You can,
directly.
yeah, and that's the thing because they showed off, or talked about what it's going to be available on. They talked about the pricing. Um, to begin with, they are releasing a Founders Edition that will be $130, and it gets you a Chromecast Ultra,
Okay,
one of the controllers, which is like
nice.
those are $70 by themselves.
Hmm.
Uh, 3 months of their premium subscription service, and
What does their service cost? What, $10 a month?
it is $10 a month.
Okay,
And we'll talk about what you get for that $10 a month in just a minute.
okay.
So it's the Chromecast, the controller, 3 months of what they're calling Stadia Pro.
Controller and the 3 months right there is 100. I'm guessing the Chromecast costs like $40 or maybe 30.
Somewhere around there. And then you get one game with it, and that is Destiny 2.
Nice. But
And
I own every version of Destiny 2 already, except
so
that
there's.
one.
Are you going to buy a Stadia just to get another copy of Destiny 2?
You know, I really don't have to since we'll be talking about something shortly right after this anyway, so I can explain
That's
myself
true.
then.
That is true. So yeah, Destiny 2, and it is the full version of Destiny 2. It's the base game plus all of the content that has been released for it
And the
already.
content that's about to release for it too.
Yes, that is true, which we'll talk about
Right after
in a
this.
minute. But pricing for the service is, like I said, $10 a month. There's two tiers. There's a free tier, and then there's the $10 a month tier. The free tier will let you stream games up to 1080p. Does not include any of the library of streaming games, um, and that's really like the major thing of that. You can purchase games separately from the subscription service. So
And
if
some games you'll have to purchase separate anyway, so
yeah,
there's
so if
that.
say you want to own not even a downloadable copy of Assassin's Creed, a streaming version of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you can pay for that separately, and it will be the full price that you would pay on any other digital service. So it's going to cost you $60 to get the game on Stadia, but then you have access to that no matter what. Even if you drop the subscription service or the subscription to Stadia, you can still play Assassin's Creed through Google Stadia.
Huh.
The $10 a month version of it, though, gets you the ability to stream up to 4K and will give you access to their library of streaming games, which, when the system launches, will consist of one game, and that is Destiny 2. Because they talked about how this is not really a streaming service. This is just access to something like Xbox's what is it, Game Pass or PlayStation Now. But those services right now are still a little better because they give you games that you can stream. This will just give you access to will give you the ability to stream up to 4K. And once they start to launch streamable games, not it's not even streamable games. It's just games like their Netflix type library that you can just play for free if you have a subscription
When they
service.
have games that can easily be streamed, yes.
Yes. But they also did say there's a list of 31, I think it's 31 games that will
Yes.
be available for purchase separately that you can stream through Stadia. And that includes things like Dragon Ball Xenoverse,
Xenoverse
Doom.
2, which is
Yeah.
a
Uh,
free to play game as of recently, I think, or going to be.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then it'll also include games like Doom 2016, Elder Scrolls Online, Doom Eternal, Grid, Metro Exodus, Farming Simulator 19, uh, the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid game,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15, all of the
Hey.
Tomb Raider games,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11,
Cool.
Assassin's Creed, Odyssey, the Ghost Recon game, a
Wait,
new
it's
Ghost
got
Recon
Just
game.
Dance on there. What the heck?
Yeah, Just Dance is also available. And then there were also two newly announced games that are coming to Stadia. Darksiders Genesis, which is the fourth game in the Darksiders series and stars the fourth horseman, Strife. It is a top-down sort of action game,
Okay. It's weird.
and they did also mention that war will also be featured in the story in some way. I assume the others probably will at some point.
I didn't play 2 or 3, so I can only assume you didn't rescue him in either of those. So someone's got to
I
do it, right?
I have
No,
played the
So I've played Darksiders 3, and it is just more of the same. It is more leading up to the apocalypse,
yeah
except you're just playing as Fury. So
Really?
yeah
yeah, I mean
I've played the first two. I haven't played the third one.
they left the third one on a cliffhanger, just like they did the first two.
Yeah.
So
Dang.
yeah, they're really they're really doing a whole lot for the series.
Well, I would imagine this fourth one may also end in a cliffhanger and there'll be a fifth game that sort of
The Fifth Horseman.
uh, brings them all together in one big sort of.
No, no, no. The fifth one, you play as the horse.
Oh, there you go. And then the other newly announced game, Baldur's Gate 3,
Ooh,
which will be PC and Stadia exclusive.
what?
Yep.
Boo.
Eh,
The Darksiders game is coming to everything. Baldur's Gate 3 will be exclusive to PC and Stadia.
Man.
they'll break down eventually, or systems will get better to be able to handle it.
Didn't they announce recently? Well, I say recently, like within the last 6 months, that Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, as well as some other D&D games, were all coming to the Switch.
Yes, I was actually talking to Tony about that before you got on the call.
Mm-hmm.
Icewind Dale. What did I say? Dell 2 or just Icewind Dale?
Icewind Dale 2, I think.
Yeah, these are all the newer revisions of these are coming out with all the additional content. I think physical versions of each collection's gonna cost like $50.
Hmm.
But that's gonna be on Xbox One, PS4, Switch, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
And there's like
Yeah,
four
sounds
different
cool.
collections, I want to say.
So, and then Google Stadia will be available beginning in November. So, they have now announced pricing and release period.
So it's 130 for the Founders thing.
It's 130 for the Founders Pack.
Yeah, that's really not that bad. If you have everything that can handle it.
Considering all the stuff that's in it, it's not really that bad a price, especially if you're in the market for like, a new streaming stick or something like that. You can get that, but then you also get all this other stuff included that lets you play games
Yeah,
in an interesting fashion.
I mean, it's kind of cool though. I mean, if you're someone who doesn't have like a high-end PC, but you have a really good internet connection and you don't play you don't have any game consoles at the moment, but you have a 4K TV, well, there you go. You have Destiny 2 right there and like full 4K playability.
Yeah. My biggest issue with this, though, is price and library at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
because it's $10 a month, which is I believe Microsoft's is also $10 a month, right, Shannon? Do
Game
you know?
Pass.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's $10 a month. Sorry, I had to think about it because I just get it through the Microsoft Rewards thing, so I don't
yeah.
ever.
You don't ever pay for anything, so. Uh, but for that $10 a month, you're getting brand new games released launch day, plus a library of games that have already been available
It's a
for Game
steal,
Pass.
honestly. It is amazing to day one have Crackdown 3 just downloaded on my system and get to play it without having to worry about paying $60 or waiting 6 months for it to go on sale. So
Yeah, I would have actually been really mad if I had paid $60 to play that game.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it
Was
is bananas. Like it is Game Pass is on par with WWE Network. Like
hmm,
they're what is it just called WWE Channel or what
It's
is it?
WWE Network.
Okay, yeah, like how you can pay $10 a month and get WrestleMania and then
Yeah.
cancel it the next month. You can essentially do that
Yep.
with Game Pass if a game is on the horizon that you want to check out. Just pay $10 and it's rental for a whole month.
Hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah. So with this, they hyped up so much that subscription type part of the service and have talked about the Netflix of games, but there's one game that's going to be available for that $10 a month right now. So
It's kind of disappointing. I mean, it's not like I'm going to say this is something that I was genuinely interested in because network out here is. I mean, I pay out the frame for 50 megs down, and there's no way that I would be able to afford gigabit internet to support this realistically to work here. But it's a cool concept. But if they're going to launch it without a library of games to start with, then they're not really doing it a service. It's like they're pushing really hard to be the first out of the gate, but are they going to be the first out of the gate to disappoint everyone?
yeah. Um, so I'm one of those types of people that was sort of on the fence about it. I was curious to see what it was going to be like, what the pricing was going to be the biggest factor for me determining whether or not I'm going to be interested in this. And as of right now, I'm not. Once the service gets, sort of built up a little bit and there's a library of games that's a part of that subscription service, then I'd consider looking at it because I do have really good internet. I have gigabit internet, Matt, um, with an unlimited data plan. So I'm sort of, and I don't have a high end PC, so I'm kind of right in the target for the type of person that is a potential customer for this.
right.
But that $10 a month with only one game, which I currently already, there's not a lot of incentive, and I don't have a 4K TV, so I don't really need that extra, visual fidelity that you
Right.
get from the subscription service. So this is going to be one of those things that I'll keep an eye on, and later down the line, if maybe I find a deal on it or it is available for Roku, which is what I currently have on my TV. Um, that's the kind of thing I'll be looking, and then I'll be looking at getting into it. But as of right now at launch, it's probably not something I'm going to be interested in. So, do you guys have any other thoughts about Stadia?
Not really.
Okay.
Nope.
And then immediately following that, Ethan got a sort of info dump about his probably favorite game of recent memory, right?
Bungie decided to have their Destiny 2 update following Stadia's updates.
Yeah. And we sort of thought that timing meant there was going to be something between those two.
And there kind of was. I mean, Destiny 2 coming on Stadia for like just coming on there, so
Yep.
amazing. Uh, no, they announced. Oh, geez, I did not grab the notes for that to begin with. They Bungie talked about the new chapter for Destiny 2, Shadowkeep. They are bringing back Eris Morn. She was a an important character in Destiny One. She's the lady that's always in the tower with the high eyes or something. I don't know,
Hmm.
but she's coming back. New location stuff that we're going to be experiencing. We're going back to the moon, so that's really cool as well. Anytime you get to go back to a destination from a previous game is always impressive to me, especially when it's worked out in such a way that that like it changes over time or whatever. So I don't know if this one's. I mean, this one's obviously going to change over time because it's been a while since we've been back to the moon on Destiny. So uh, they're bringing back bosses we thought were dead and gone because this new darkness reincarnates them as nightmares or something. So Crota from the first game, he's gonna make a comeback. Gull from the boss of Vanilla Destiny 2, he's back. It's just it's gonna be an interesting turn of events going back to the moon and facing old bosses with new tricks. And apparently they're going even deeper into customizations, and it looks like everyone gets some kind of finishing moves or like an ogre punch sort of thing that sends opponents
Hmm.
flying. So that was pretty neat. And there was also the announcement of Destiny 2 New Light. This
What is
is
that?
this is a starting point for people who have not played Destiny to begin the game. They get to do like the first encounter stuff from Destiny 1 and kind of work their way into Destiny 2 in some kind of fashion. I'm very confused on how they're going to work all that in, but
Yeah,
it's
this
it,
is
it seems like
it's
they get access to it's basically Destiny 2 free to play.
yeah, it's a free to play version of the game that comes with the base game plus all of the year one content. And then I assume past that you would have to pay for any of the expansions.
There, the way they did the expansion stuff uh, into Forsaken was a little different. There's content people can access without paying for, and then there's stuff that those who have paid for get more access to. And one of the things I think the limitations were was like Gambit was a paid for thing, but everyone probably gets access to Gambit now, from what I can tell. So
Yeah.
that's one thing to look forward to. And
Yeah.
they did have pre-orders open up for Shadowkeep, and it comes with a little physical decoder thing. I don't. It was weird. I was at work when I was pre-ordering this, so I don't know what the base expansion cost is, but and I'm not going to say what I spent on the collector's edition.
So, yeah, if I think they're really trying to get sort of try to build up maybe a lapsed user base to Destiny. Um,
What they're really doing now is they want to make the fans happy by giving them more, and since it's just Bungie now, they're not being told what they can and can't do, and they don't have to worry about microtransactions. They're going to focus more on what they can do with just the game itself and do what they want and what the fans want.
so, is this the start of them sort of turning Destiny into a platform, sort of like Warframe, where there's one game and they just continue to build on top of that?
I don't know. I would imagine they would probably work this story to its end point and then maybe go with a whole different concept of a free to play version, and it's just under a different uh, not a different name completely, but it'd be like Destiny subtitled this, and that's your Warframe version of that, where it's just all in one package. Because I mean, just going all in on Destiny 2, and then having us locked out of Destiny 1 stuff would be kind of bad. I mean, not that Destiny 1's locked out right now, but it would be kind of
Yeah.
nice to
I
have
mean, and
access
that
to that stuff
that's
again.
always stuff they could if they decide to go, Destiny 2 as a platform and drop the 2 from it in some way. They could reintroduce all of that Destiny 1 stuff into this version of Destiny, so it's all together under one umbrella.
Maybe they will one day. I'd be happy with that. And we are kind of making uh, baby steps towards a unified gaming thing on this with Destiny.
Hmm.
We don't have crossplay, but we got cross save, or we're getting
Yes, so
cross save. So
that's one thing they talked about during Stadia was if you play Destiny 2 on Stadia, you'd be able to bring your character from any version of
mm-hmm.
Destiny 2 over, and I assume it'll work the other way as well.
Yes,
Where
I think it's some kind of weird thing that they have going on right now where you have to tell it which version you're carrying over,
Mhm.
but you can say like on your profile it's like I want to bring my PSN version over to PC, and so it'll transfer over next time you hop on PC version.
Yeah, which is really
And
cool.
that's incredibly amazing that they got Sony to agree to it, even though rumors say it was Sony's waiting till the very last minute to agree to do that.
Mm.
So we're
Last minute or not, I'm proud that they did
Yeah,
because they've kind of been doing it for what 7 years with the Vita, not 7 years, 5 years, 6 years, something like that.
well,
yeah.
it's not so much it's cross save between platforms, not just like
Yeah,
It's
not like Vita to PS4 or PS3
yeah. But in this case, your save can jump back and forth between PC and PS4
or Xbox.
and Stadia.
very cool.
I can't help but wonder if maybe Bungie said, "Well, we're not going to do exclusives with you anymore, so you can take it or leave it and have everyone mad at you,
Yeah.
or have everyone happy. Your choice."
So, well, all right. That is the Destiny news. So let's move on to the next press conference. And this is Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. No, sorry, 3 o'clock p.m. our time, Microsoft. Uh, this is one I am really interested in watching, even though I don't currently own an Xbox.
Okay,
And
so I'm right there with you, but I do own an Xbox, and I am very excited to see what they're gonna do in multiple ways. So first of all, if you're gonna watch the Microsoft press conference, watch it on Mixer, because 9 times out of 10, when you're watching their press conferences or their Inside Xbox streams, if you're doing it through Mixer, logged into your Xbox Live account, you're gonna get some sort of digital reward in some way, shape, or form. And
okay,
usually, like they'll do things like you'll get specific limited access content on like Sea of Thieves if you play Sea of Thieves, or Forza Horizon 4. Sometimes they'll do special character outfits and stuff that you can only get through what they call Mixpot. So like you watch through Mixer and you get an item from the pot, like those kind of things.
yeah,
So that's always a cool perk, staying in the Microsoft ecosystem. Um, and then yeah, man, I want to know what is coming with the future of these services.
yeah.
They talk about announcing a new system. I saw that all over the Bing homepage today about them, basically boasting of a new system coming, and this is where they're going to give information about it. So
Hmm.
curious to see what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I generally do watch every press conference every year because stuff, I'm looking for stuff that's going to convince me to, pick up another system because I don't have an Xbox. There still
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been anything that's just been like, okay, I have to have it now. And what I'm anticipating and hoping to see from Microsoft this year means I won't need to get an Xbox. Um, because all of the games that I want to play on the Xbox, I'll be able to play on another system. Uh, and that's strictly coming from all of this. What is going on behind the scenes with Microsoft and Nintendo? Because something has to be going on.
Mm-hmm.
there's too much of this little bits of, Microsoft and Nintendo being friendly here, Microsoft and Nintendo being friendly here. There's a lot of smoke for there not to be a fire.
Yep.
Even if it's nothing more than, Sakurai coming out on stage and being like, you know what? We got Banjo in Smash. Or Steve in Smash, whichever. I don't care. Those are the two. I am firmly of the belief that there will be a Microsoft character in Smash from one of these last 4 DLC characters. And the two that I anticipate being the top picks are Steve from Minecraft and Banjo.
Banjo-Kazooie or Conker?
I don't think they do Conker. I just don't think Conker's the kind of character that they put into Smash. I think Banjo's a bigger name. I think Banjo has a bigger history with Nintendo than Conker does. I realize Conker's been on.
Oh wait, I forgot Master Chief is a thing.
Master Chief is another one I think could happen, but because there's not been a Halo game yet, I don't see Master Chief being that pick. I think he's the sort of the wild card long shot type character to be on there, unless something else happens and there's like Halo games that are announced for Switch.
Final Fantasy VII. Well, it's on Switch now, so never mind that.
And Final Fantasy is one of those weird ones because Final Fantasy's been on Nintendo systems. Final Fantasy VII never had, but Cloud is sort of the face of the Final Fantasy franchise. So he makes the most sense to be, if you want to have a Final Fantasy character in a different game, Cloud is the first choice.
Agreed.
But then also you have Joker, who Persona 5 has never been on a Nintendo system, so that throws that, because there's no Halo game, Master Chief can't possibly be the character that they put in Smash. But yeah, outside of that, there's just a lot of really interesting things that Microsoft is doing that I want to see them talk about. What is the future of Game Pass? How easy is it going to be for me to get that on, whatever thing that I happen to own, so that I can have a Game Pass subscription and play those Microsoft games wherever I want to. They seem to be leading that charge into, we are opening up the video game ecosystem from these really sort of isolated islands to, there's no reason that this can't be everywhere. So I also expect lots of guns from Microsoft.
Let's see. I want to say there's Halo and Gears of War on the agenda this year, so lots of guns, yes.
Yeah. There will be lots of. I think the gun to trailer ratio will be highest with Microsoft. But then also, I think we'll probably get some more information about Minecraft's mobile game, whatever that's going to be.
Minecraft Earth, yeah.
I do hope that they give some information about what's happening with the Telltale stuff, like Minecraft Story Mode, since that's apparently getting pulled from all digital services at the end of June.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to hear that, hey, Microsoft and Mojang pulled that IP back in. They bought it back from Telltale or something. So
yeah. Or at least supporting it in some way, even if it's just to keep it available
right
on systems, if nothing else. Because it's getting completely pulled. Like, you won't even be able to download it again, right? It's getting like the full PT treatment.
Yeah, Telltale has pretty much straight up said, yo, if you own any of our stuff digitally, make sure you download it, because we can't guarantee it's going to be available anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, what else do you want to see from Microsoft?
You kind of already stated where my mind was leaning, which is finding out what Nintendo's doing.
Mm-hmm.
What is going to come out of that.
it is going to be insane, and that theater will go nuts if Miyamoto shows up in a Microsoft press conference.
Could you imagine?
um,
I'm kind of also I'm kind of also very much looking forward to finding out like as much as I don't as little excitement I have for Stadia, I'm more so excited for what Microsoft has been talking about with their streaming stuff for the
yeah,
last year and a half. I'm very curious to see what that is. Like I you know, even if it's just streaming in my house and I can do remote play on my iPhone in
yeah.
another room, I would love to just have the ability to do that. But, you know, until they tell us what it's going to be, I have no idea.
Yeah, of the press conference outside Microsoft, one I am most curious about what's going to happen and what are they going to show. They've also talked. I think they said 15 first-party games that they're planning to show off.
15.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, they have a bunch of studios now, so
Very
they've
true.
they've got the potential for a lot of content.
They did kind of go on an acquisition rampage for a while.
Yeah. And I think that number is 15 first-party games that they're going to show off during the press conference. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. They have the potential, I think, to be the press conference of the week, depending on what they show. So, following Microsoft, later that same evening, Sunday at 7:30 our time, that's Central Standard Time, Bethesda. They've got a lot of we're sorry kind of we need to fix things
Yeah.
to do. I have no idea what they're going to show. Like, no clue. Because the next Elder Scrolls game is still a long way off. We are many years, I think, from that. They have that other game that they announced last year that they could show off. Maybe they talk about some improvements and changes to Fallout 76.
I think they need to talk of Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they're so far away from that game even being a reality that I don't think there's a lot they can show for that.
I mean, they can't just. I mean, they do need to fix some of the stuff like the Fallout 76, but they can't just come out and not say anything about Elder Scrolls. And they can't just. I mean, they can't beat the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim one horse repeatedly, can they?
They'll find some other Skyrim too.
Oh gosh.
They'll announce a Stadia version.
Oh.
Oh man, this is the press conference that I just have no idea what to expect from them, and in a not like the next conference, Devolver Digital, where you just have no idea what they're going to do aside from utter insanity. I don't know what to expect from Bethesda.
Like EA, they can really surprise us probably, but unless
I think they're going to have to surprise people if they want to come away from E3 with people excited about Bethesda. I mean, I guess they've got Doom, so they could show off Doom.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that for a minute. Doom Eternal.
Yeah, that's not that. Yeah, that
And
should actually be playable.
So Doom Eternal and Wolfenstein. Those are the two things I guess they could show off. I can't believe I completely just glossed over those.
Well, I mean, when you think Doom, you usually you would think idsoft, not Bethesda. So there you go.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what I have in my head thought about what Bethesda is going to do. It's going to be Doom and Wolfenstein. and both of those games I'm actually very excited about.
Nice.
So uh, I hope I hope this Doom is a little more playable. Doom on the Switch, because that game was nausea inducing. I had a lot of motion sickness issues playing through Doom.
I wonder why that is.
So, and then, like I said, following Bethesda at 9 o'clock Central, Devolver Digital, and that's just going to be insanity for half an hour, because I bet that they're probably going to run about 30 minutes, and it's just going to be utter insanity.
So my biggest desires from Devolver is bring some of them hot Vita games to the Switch. Like I want Luftrausers, I
Okay,
want
yeah.
Hotline Miami, I want that I want those amazing gems from the Vita on
You
the
want
Switch.
all the Vita ports on Switch.
Yeah, make it happen.
They're just like they're just going to come out and say we are porting the entire Vita over to Switch,
I'm in.
and there will be lots of blood on the stage, probably. Um, their press conferences are always entertaining, if nothing else.
Well, you gotta.
Because
I mean, if you don't enjoy what you do, then don't do it.
because I do love their story. We're gonna have a press, but make fun of press conferences while we're having a press conference thing. It's always entertaining. All right, so uh, next, and this is sort of opening the show proper on Monday. Ubisoft will be at 3 o'clock Central Time. Um, the thing I want to see most from them is another Nintendo property. I think Ubisoft has done really good with the stuff they've had. Both the Rabbids, they made me interested in a Rabbids game, and they brought out a really fun space shooter that had Star Fox in it. I want to see. I think Ubisoft and Nintendo have a good enough relationship that Ubisoft can say, "Hey, we'd like to try something with this property," and Nintendo says, "Sure."
What's your dream partnership, Tony?
Uh, I don't. I don't know if there's any one thing that. I mean, Star Fox would be the first thing that comes to my mind. I would love to see them properly get a chance to do a Star Fox game. I think they could do something interesting with that,
Hmm.
based off of Starlink, which was fun. Um, I think they need to drop the Toys to Life stuff,
Okay.
uh, and just bring a proper Star Fox game to the Switch. That would be the first thing I think that I would like to see them do. Um, Maybe we get a sequel to Rabbids, Mario and Rabbids. Um, but I don't know. I don't. There's not just one thing. It's going to be something that comes completely out of left field and surprises you, and you think, well, that's an interesting choice. Nintendo has such a huge catalog of games they could possibly pull from, um, that there's just no telling what they could end up doing.
Wario versus Rabbids. Eh?
Hmm.
Eh? Eh?
Eh,
I think Rabbit should stay away from Wario.
I'd be okay if they brought back WarioWare and let Ubisoft do it. I think
Oh,
their experience with rabid crazy minigame stuff, they could do
yeah,
something fun.
See, there
that's
you
an
go. Shannon
interesting
gets
choice.
it.
Yeah. Um, Obviously, I think we're probably going to see something Assassin's Creed related. Uh,
Wa-
Ethan, you and I were talking the other day about Watch Dogs.
Yes, there was the Watch Dogs Legion leak. So, Watch Dogs 3 taking place in London. Eh?
Uh,
Okay.
if they're not going to do Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs makes the most sense for that. I at one point thought they were going to sort of go, back and forth between those, do Assassin's Creed one year, Watch Dogs the next, and just sort of ping pong back and forth between those two franchises.
It would be kind of nice, or even make it, or even eventually turn it into a modern day Assassin's Creed, which it kind
Yeah.
of was with Watch Dogs 2, but I mean, there's less assassination, of course, and more hacking.
Yeah. So, uh, they just showed off a new Ghost Recon game today. So we'll probably see something related to Ghost Recon. They showed that off during the Stadia. I think that was a new game. Uh, so, maybe a new Trials game. Maybe. I don't know how well those are doing at this point. I don't know if that
Uh,
continues to be a popular franchise.
it's a fairly popular franchise, and I think a lot of people really just love the customization stuff they can do in those games.
Yeah. Even it may be nothing more than an update to the most recent Trials game, because I think that came out earlier this year, didn't it? So it may be too soon.
Yes.
It's probably too soon for any, new game in the series, but maybe an update to that or a, expansion to that. Um, Aside from Microsoft, I think they're going to be the second highest number of guns during the show. They have a lot of they have a lot of Tom Clancy properties, so they have sort of an infinite number of guns that they can bring out.
Oh, maybe we'll get a look at Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, that is true. I
I forgot
imagine
that
we'll
was a
probably
thing.
I imagine we'll see something about that.
And there was a game they showed off a few years ago called Pioneer. So maybe we'll get to get a better look at that eventually.
What is the not Assassin's Creed ship game?
Not Black Flag. Uh, because that was Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, because they sort of broke that off and are making a separate pirate game.
Wasn't there like a news that they're not going to show that one?
Uh,
Let's see,
um,
Ubisoft
I
pirate
don't.
game,
Are they? Is that a
Skull and
new like?
Bones.
Yeah, I think Ubisoft Pirates sounds like a Cooking Mama sequel.
You remember how to spell words your way, and I'll do them my way.
So, do you see anything about them showing that off this year or
I,
not showing that
I
off
I
this
can't
year?
find. Maybe I just dreamed the thing that they weren't going to show it. I don't know. I don't see it on my any of my prediction stuff that I'm looking at for at the moment. So maybe it's just gone under the radar and it can pop out and surprise everyone. I don't know.
One thing I'd like to see, it was a 3DS game, a 3DS launch game. It was a Tom Clancy Ghost Recon. It was a turn-based strategy game.
Oh, that's right. They have the Tom Clancy titles.
Yes, they have all the Tom Clancy titles: Ghost Recon, uh, Rainbow Six,
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell. We haven't had a Splinter Cell in a while.
Yeah, no, we
Um,
could. I could really go for a good Splinter Cell game since Metal Gear's dead.
Sad
Thanks,
face.
Konami.
Splinter Cell. What was it? Blacklist was the last one they did,
Maybe.
I think.
Let's see.
And that's been a while, so
Yeah, we're overdue for a new Splinter Cell.
we could see something
They,
Splinter
they
Cell.
just need to open up in with that everything going dark, and then you just hear that sound, just the from the goggles, and then like the screen lights up with that glow, and then bam, there you go.
And then logo, and that's all you get.
Sure, I
Uh,
mean, I would like a little bit more, like maybe have Sam Fisher's
well,
voice actor pop out.
the question is, which Sam Fisher do you get?
OG.
Okay, you got to have Michael Ironsides doing the voice.
If it's not him,
Um,
it's not Sam.
I'm gonna say right now they're gonna bring Sean White back on stage, and we're gonna get a new Sean White snowboarding game. Is he even still relevant? I have no idea.
Who?
So, yeah,
No,
Ubisoft.
I know who Sean White is. He's cool.
Yeah. Maybe it's a Sean White skateboarding game. I don't know. We've had both.
If Sean White somehow hears this and is offended, I apologize. And if you're not offended and still listening to it at this point, then you have passed my test and you can be my friend.
I was going to say you're a better skateboarder than that Tony Hawk guy, but I don't think that's true. Square Enix. I want to see Dragon Quest. That's all I care about. Dragon Quest, Dragon Quest, Dragon Quest, Dragon Quest.
They have a lot riding on their
Yeah.
shoulders this year.
Tell me when I can have a playable demo of Dragon Quest 11 on the Switch because
Tomorrow.
I want one. Tell me when I can get the playable demo for Dragon Quest Builders 2 on the Switch.
Yesterday.
Um,
I'm just throwing out days.
I could get the Japanese demo, but I want to be able to read the demo and
Well,
read the stuff.
Google Translate.
There you go. I'll just play the game through my phone.
I have done that with a game before. It's not easy to do.
Final Fantasy 13 port to Switch.
You shut your mouth, good sir.
No Final Fantasy 13 port.
This show is rated PG for a reason.
Okay. Like my biggest hope, or my biggest want, I guess, from Square Enix is Dragon Quest related, and I want a re-release. The only games we haven't seen re-released recently is the original trilogy. I want to see them bring those back, and I want to see them using the Octopath engine.
Oh my gosh, yes, Octopath.
That'd be cool.
Speaking of
Dragon
Octopath, that
Quest.
comes out tomorrow on Steam.
Dragon Quest trilogy using either the Octopath engine or the Builders engine. One of the two. I'd prefer the Octopath engine, but I'd be okay with the Builders engine.
It would be super adorable in the Builder's engine.
It would. It would be great. But just imagine Dragon Quest dioramas with those.
I know, that'd be amazing.
That lighting engine from Octopath.
Gosh, that'd be so cool.
That's what I want to see. Dragon Quest trilogy, the original trilogy, available.
Tony, you need to get into some paper crafting stuff, print out the sprites and your own little areas. You can make your own three-dimensional dioramas and take pictures of them. Be awesome. Or you can do it with like those little plastic bead things that melt together.
The perler beads.
Yeah.
I'll have to see what I can come up with. So yeah, Dragon Quest trilogy and Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. There we go. Confirmed. I'm just gonna sneak that in there every chance I get. No, I don't want to see Final Fantasy 13, but I'd be okay.
Joke's on you. There's at least 4 13 games.
Shh.
So
Final
the big,
Fantasy 7.
So the big thing everyone's looking forward to is Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Yeah.
Because we need stuff on that.
I'm hearing people say online, and I have no idea where this comes from, that Square Enix may release a PlayStation Plus exclusive demo for Final Fantasy VII.
I am all for that. I don't see a reason for them to just release it as a PS Plus demo, because this isn't going to just be PlayStation. I'm pretty sure.
No, I think this is.
I mean, Square Enix doesn't want the money for this game, so they're going to release it on everything they can.
It's going to come to everything but Switch, probably.
Oh, sadness.
So I'd be okay and surprised if they bring it to Switch, but I think it's probably going to be PS4 and Xbox and PC. So.
And apparently they have some Avengers title in the works.
They do.
So people are looking forward to finding out more about that one.
Yeah, because I have not seen anything other than there's an Avengers game being made.
Yes.
So. What else could Square Enix?
If they wanted to get on my good side, like immediately, is just say Robo Trek is coming back.
Okay.
Or they could just do the just Robo Trek. We'll just go with that for now.
Do we see anything Tomb Raider related?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Don't need it.
What about Final Fantasy 16?
I forgot we had that conversation, didn't we?
We did.
Oh man, I forgot what I said exactly, but yes, the Final Fantasy 16 would be a good announcement.
So
Especially if it went the way I planned it, which I know was pretty good, but it's not going to go that way.
they'll show off the first teaser, and 11 years from now we'll get Final Fantasy 16. But in between that, 17, 18, and 19 will all come out.
Oh, man, where is my phone? I'm going to look up that conversation we had.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
No.
I'm just naming stuff at this point.
They're going to announce a Kingdom Hearts game that's like the Octopath Traveler stuff.
Something that could potentially
For Stadia.
Kingdom Hearts for Switch in some form.
Okay.
Whether it's, the first two games or with all the stuff that comes with it. Maybe like a Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. The 1.5 and 2.5 or 2.8, whatever. I don't remember what numbers they were. Those games coming to Switch. Maybe. Possibly.
If I'm quiet, it's because I'm looking up the conversation.
So, but I do think we'll see Dragon Quest stuff. I think we'll see Final Fantasy. There will be other RPGs that they bring out. What other properties do they have aside from Tomb Raider?
Oh,
Do they have Hitman?
No, they don't have Hitman
No.
anymore. That went back to the original dev.
Oh, did it?
Or whoever the dev they had at the time with them.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that conversation
Oh,
is. That we have.
maybe they'll come out and say we're going to fix Left Alive.
Okay.
Or they could announce a new front mission. Just throwing those out there.
The biggest thing is I've stayed away from all rumors and stuff leading up to E3, so I have no idea what is going through the rumor mill. I've been surprisingly good at staying away from if I see anything that's like this company's talked about this for E3, or here are my thoughts about what's going to happen at E3. I've stayed away from any of that stuff, so I'm going into this completely sort of blank and fresh. So I have no idea what to expect from any of these companies. I'm just rattling things off that I can think of. But then lastly, the big one, at least for me, the big one, the one that I'm most interested in, that is Nintendo's.
May 14th at 4:38 p.m. I said, what if E3 comes around and Nintendo surprise announces another live-action movie starring Kirby done by the Detective Pikachu designer? I was literally on that as I was scrolling through our messages. So it seemed kind of appropriate, so I had to say it.
Yeah. So, obviously, the big thing for me from Nintendo is Luigi's Mansion. I want to see what's going to come from that game, what to expect from that. So I want to see gameplay. I want to see character. I want that game to have character again, which is what I think Luigi's Mansion 2 didn't have compared to the first one. I want to. What are you laughing at?
Oh, the blade that glows blue when orcs are nearby.
I want to see a release date. I have no idea when to expect that game. October-ish would be the thing you would think, but I don't know. What are you guys most looking forward to or want to see from Nintendo this year?
Animal Crossing.
Okay. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Metroid.
I think there will be zero mention of Metroid.
Zero?
I think there will be zero because they completely reset the development of the game. So
it'd be a great time for them to say, "Hey, this is how we're fixing it."
Okay. The one thing I do, and I've said this for a while now since they delayed it, is Prime Trilogy. What are they going? Are they going to bring that to Switch?
Ooh, they could do that. Yeah.
That's the one Metroid mention I think we will get is if they decide to bring Prime Trilogy to Switch. They'll talk about that.
I also want to see what Suda51 is doing because he was at, was it MomoCon or something in Atlanta, and
Yes, Momocon.
like he hinted hard at something coming to Switch,
Really?
and he was like, watch out for E3. So what I would love to see come out of that is, I would love, hey, we're bringing No More Heroes 1 and 2 to Switch in
Mm-hmm.
a bundle, and not only that, we're also working on No More Heroes 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to see.
But if you get that No More Heroes bundle, you'll get one game on the cartridge and the other one will be downloaded.
You know what? I don't care. If I could play No More Heroes 1 and 2 on my Switch, I'm okay with it.
I
Me
would be too.
too.
I would be too. Going back to your desire to see Animal Crossing, we will definitely see Animal Crossing. I think that is almost a guarantee at this point. The thing is, I don't know when they're going to bring that game out. I have two thoughts. It's either going to be like September-ish to get it away from holiday just a little bit, but still have it close enough that it could lead into some holiday sales for
December.
Here's
December.
the deal. I could very easily see Animal Crossing coming out in Japan before Christmas. Like, I could see that happening. They're going to give us a trailer, and we're going to look at the American Direct, and it's going to be a trailer with 2020,
Yeah.
and then you're going to see the Japanese variant of that Nintendo Direct, and they're going to say November, or December 2nd or something crazy.
Yeah.
They're going to say, yo, it comes out early, because those games are a task to translate. They have never been day and date release with Japan.
So that's the other thing I thought is it's either they've got it completely ready to go, they're going to do worldwide release around September, or we're going to get it in like February or March.
Right.
Those are my two thoughts.
I also got into a conversation this week with Micah about amiibo support, because I am one of the few morons on the planet who has every Animal Crossing amiibo, all 454 cards, and all of the figures, and I just
Catch 'em,
when
catch
they
'em, gotta catch
when
'em
they
all.
added when they added Welcome Amiibo to Animal Crossing New Leaf, for me, that extended the game by 2 years. Like, it added enough content for me to want to actually go through the process of befriending all of these amiibos that I already have.
Yeah.
It made me want to bring them to the campground and talk and make friends with them strong enough, build a strong enough bond to where I can get their pictures and complete that catalog. Now at this point, I'm done with it. I think I'm pretty much done with New Leaf. I haven't really picked it up much at all, and I think the last time I played New Leaf was to give you that fruit a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
And I don't know what to think about for Amiibo. Like, I have no clue what's going to happen with Amiibo because Mario Maker does not have Amiibo support,
what?
like at all. I've seen that multiple places on the internet. They dropped all the Amiibo support for Mario Maker.
What? It had the best Amiibo support. Why would they kill that?
Outside of Smash, I don't know anything that's coming up that has Amiibo support.
Man,
Sad.
I really want my Amiibo cards to serve more of a purpose. Please, Nintendo.
Like, because Animal Crossing has all of those cards and the figures, maybe they do something with it for that, but I don't see maybe new Amiibo.
No, I'd be okay with no new Amiibo, as long as, if they're going to put new characters in, which is kind of standard nowadays, if they're going to put new friends to make in the animal community, then they have to release a new series of cards, even if it's just a mini series with 25 or 50 to represent whatever the new characters are. I'm okay with it. Just don't add in amiibo support, tell me I can build my town however I want it, and then tell me, hey, these new characters you can't actually do that with. That would upset me
Yeah.
horribly.
So we'll see some stuff with Daemon X Machina.
Bayonetta 3.
We'll we'll see something with Bayonetta 3. Then that other Platinum game. I think we'll see a lot of stuff about that. What is that? I
Astral
can't remember.
Chain.
Astral
Yep.
Chain. Yeah. I think we'll see quite a bit about Astral Chain. The other things I thought we might really see were Mario and Animal Crossing. I mean, not Animal Crossing, sorry. Mario and, and Pokemon. And both of those things got their own directs to get them out of the way of E3. So either they're going to show off a bunch of little things or they've got something big still for E3 that we have no idea.
They could
Metroid.
be planning a big, Link's Awakening
Oh yeah, Link's
thing.
Awakening.
I don't know how much time Link's Awakening will get. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a huge release. I mean, it's going to be big. It's Zelda. Obviously, it's going to be big, but it's one of those weird sort of smaller Zelda games in some ways.
Oh, just because it was on Game Boy, I see how it is.
So I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I love Link's Awakening, but I just don't know how much time you can devote to that game the way you could something like Breath of the Wild. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right.
Um,
What if they came out and said that the Breath of the Wild? Oh, what was that thing? The essentially the Mario Maker thing that they were
oh yeah,
using. What if they made
they're
that publicly available?
man, I don't know. That is one of those things. Like I think everybody wants, but I don't think people understand just how much more goes into making a game like that than goes into making a Mario game.
Well, just don't even make it a game. Just make it a fun little usable
Make just
thing.
like make a downloadable sort of like small mini game Zelda thing
Well, it's
using that.
I mean, make it still functional as a maker,
Yeah.
and then,
Okay.
but I mean, you don't have to put all the time into it there like they did with Mario Maker. Just say, all right, here it is. You can make your own little adventure, your own dungeon, and then put it online. Here's the code. Have fun. That's all they need to do. I mean, it's
That
not going to
would
be a big thing, but it'd be something to take up some time there.
like I don't want to get into the every franchise is going to have its own maker thing, but if they're going to do
Mega
something
Man
like
Maker.
that, well, I was going to say Metroid.
Oh,
Maybe they do something like that with Metroid.
nah, we don't need it.
Is that the kind of franchise that? I mean,
It's
is that
just
the kind
somewhere
of
Shelby is just planning to hit me right now.
is that the kind of franchise that they could do a maker with and have people get interested and excited about that?
For Metroid,
I don't know. Like because it's big with us because we're all Metroid fans, but the wider general audience, Metroid's not Mario.
yeah, I don't think they would do a Metroid Maker.
And then the last thing I think that we'll get something with Microsoft. There has to be something going on. So uh, the new Smash characters, they'll probably talk at least about one of those during the direct. If not,
You know
maybe
what?
just give you a blowout of information of all the last four DLC
Nintendo
characters.
announces a new Banjo Kazooie by having Microsoft come out on stage.
Well, out on film.
Yeah,
Because they
you know
don't
what
do
I
that.
mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I can see that. Um,
And then we get Banjo Kazooie and Smash.
the other thing I just keep thinking about is what about some sort of game exchange between Microsoft and Nintendo? Is that a thing that could happen? Like we get a Microsoft game, whether it's Halo, Banjo, and then Microsoft gets some not top tier, but middle tier Nintendo franchise. they get a release on Xbox. Is that something that could ever happen?
Eh, doubt it.
Okay. Like, I don't know what it would be that is very much wishful thinking or, grasping at straws, throwing stuff against the wall to see what would stick. I don't know. That's something I've been thinking about lately with Microsoft and Nintendo being
I could
seeming
see
to
I
be
could
getting.
see a game being released on from Nintendo on Microsoft's side, but with Nintendo's heavy involvement and legal team involved on that.
Well, yeah,
But
obviously
but I
it
mean,
would.
at the end of the day, it's gonna be like not financially worth it, so they're not gonna do it.
You don't think it would be?
It might work in the other way where Microsoft's like, "Hey, Nintendo, do you want this on your console?" and do that, but that's just that.
But could that be a way though for Microsoft to start to get a bigger foothold in Japan?
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta work through those legal ninjas and all that.
You do, obviously, and the Yakuza. So,
Yakuza.
I'm not saying Yakuza's coming to Switch, but I'd love that.
That'd be cool.
So
They
yeah,
announced Mega Man Legends 3 for Switch. That's way too much wishful thinking. Sorry.
Game Freak's a little busy, or I'd continue to use their HD thing. But
Hmm.
Game Freak's working on something else right now. If you've heard, they're making a new Pokemon game, so I guess Drill Dozer has to wait another year.
Darn it.
So, do you guys have any other thoughts about Nintendo and what could possibly come from them?
Mm, let's see that Switch Mini.
That's right, hardware.
Or
See,
maybe just a better dock for the Switch. Like, I'd kind of throw money at a better dock that I can throw in my backpack.
okay. Yeah, like, see, Nintendo has continued that we're not making new right now, but no, they're making hardware. It's just a matter of when is it going to be announced.
Right.
Because they're going to revise the Switch in some way, whether they're going to make it slightly beefier or they're going to make it more portable, or both. Whether they sort of drop the one now, you get a bigger one, or you get a smaller one. The choice is yours.
Don't drop the Switch, that'll break it.
I've dropped my Switch many times. It won't
Don't do
break it.
that.
It'll just rip the cables out of the Joy-Con. Fine, you can put it all back together. Um, so well, there you go. Is there any other thoughts about what we could possibly see in the next week from any of these companies?
So I kind of want to go around the table and get like your pie in the sky, like regardless of press conference, regardless of company. What's your pie in the sky dream out of E3 this year?
Yeah, I want to see Halo Collection on Switch.
Okay. What about you, Ethan?
I. Hmm. I'm really just open to any surprise, really. Like last year, the Devil May Cry announcement came out of nowhere for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, the best thing that could happen would be like Robo Trek getting announced for a re-release or
Dot hack.
Dot Hack even. But I'm just gonna be surprised by whatever's really gonna surprise me.
Yeah. What about you, Shannon? What do you want to see most of all?
So, Limited Run Games does have their, I don't know if it's press conference or just kind of a little video they put out around E3. They've recently had a handful of PS3 games, like they got some of the Oddworld games on PS3, and I think the Naughty Dog re-releases that they've done lately. I would
Okay.
love to, I just absolutely love to see them secure Yakuza 5 on PS3 since they're somehow managing to print PS3 discs.
Wow, yeah, that'd be great. That would be fantastic.
Be amazing.
And then I'm going to say, lastly, Final Fantasy 14 2 confirmed. We're going to have another MMO, but they're not doing Final Fantasy 16 as an MMO.
You have to carry your character over.
That's right.
Wait, they already did that with 14.
So, all right. I think more than anything, I am very excited about what's going to happen this year. I know people are talking about E3 being less and less important as the years go on, but I am still very excited to see what is coming, and I'm looking forward to a lot of surprises. So, but I guess next week we'll talk about everything that happened during the show. So we can look forward to that. So thank you, Shannon, for being here today.
Yay, E3!
And thank you, Ethan.
Yay, E3.
And we'll see everybody after E3. If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.